Welcome to the first video in a series of personal commentary of the war chapters in the Book of Mormon. Now I will be using as a reference a book which I wrote and published a few years ago titled By a Thread. I wrote this book as a watchman for the benefit of family and friends who have been wondering why we find ourselves in the circumstances that we do in the world today, but more specifically here in Utah and also the U.S. Why we find ourselves in the conflicts that we find ourselves in, and the secret combinations that are ongoing. So let's dive right in. The Book of Mormon was brought forth by the power of God to serve as a witness and also a warning. The primary purpose of its authors, according to Moroni's title page, is, quote, to show unto the remnant of the house of Israel what great things the Lord hath done for their fathers, and that they may know the covenants of the Lord, that they are not cast off forever, and also to the convincing of the Jew and the Gentile that Jesus is the Christ, the eternal God, manifesting himself unto all nations, end quote. Moroni also seemed to indicate a secondary purpose of the Book of Mormon, which is to warn us in the last days that conspiring men are always secretly combining to overthrow the liberty of men and women in order to bring them into bondage and captivity. Such was often the case throughout the millennial span of the Book of Mormon. Its authors hoped that we today would learn from their mistakes and be wiser than they were. As the final author of the writings contained in the Book of Mormon, Moroni was also the last surviving Nephite, faithful to God, who suffered the ruins of war by his apostate and dissident extended family, the Lamanites. After his father Mormon had died in their final great battle, Moroni was left alone to finish his father's work of abridging the record, adding his own words, quote, Behold, I speak unto you as though I spake from the dead, for I know that ye shall have my words. Condemn me not because of mine imperfection, neither my father because of his imperfection, neither them who have written before him, but rather give thanks unto God, that he hath made manifest unto you our imperfections, that ye may learn to be more wise than we have been. End quote. In George Orwell's book, 1984, the proletarian, a Marxist term, was the working class of Oceania. They were a barely educated people who provided the vast majority of labor. They were no better than animals to Ingsocs, a syllabic abbreviation of English socialism, upper crust party members. In the Matrix movie, the people who lived inside the Matrix world were kept alive, although permanently asleep in a dream world throughout their lifespans by machines of artificial intelligence to function as nothing more than batteries used for powering the system. These fictional dystopian civilizations are typically born from and through the decadence and the slothfulness of their people and their failure to prevent despotic men from overthrowing their liberty. In the Book of Mormon, one such despot was Amalickiah. But before his role in the historical context of the book is covered, the stage must be set. To be continued.